Hello, my name is Lauren Grey-Hawkins, and today I'm going to share some information about the specific learning disorder of dyslexia. By the end of this video, I hope that you will be able to gain a better understanding of what dyslexia is, learn some of the common characteristics of this disorder, and learn several teaching strategies to support students with dyslexia. So before we get started, I wanted to take a more creative look at dyslexia. Online dyslexia simulators are often created by people without the disorder and are criticized for giving a one-dimensional view of the condition. But while working on this fact sheet, I also really wanted to understand what this exceptionality was like for someone who had it. So I was immediately drawn to these two images because they were created by two different artists who have dyslexia and who have made a conscious decision to use their dyslexia within their art. The first piece is Untitled by a Dutch artist named Gordon Hassel, who uses his dyslexia and the natural spelling errors that he makes as a result of the disorder to create the experience of having to slowly decipher every word in order to figure out the meaning of his sentences. The second piece is called Come Come by American artist Nick Fagan. In this piece, Fagan said he wanted to find the area where communication breaks down into something more abstract. Both of these pieces take familiar symbols of language and distort them, so that the meaning we know should be there is much harder to see. While there are no real simulations for having dyslexia, both of these pieces allowed me to glimpse the experience that these artists have with their own dyslexia by causing me to rethink the ease of reading that I often take for granted. So what is dyslexia? Dyslexia is a specific brain-based learning disability that impairs an individual's phonological processing, which is the ability to process and understand written and spoken language. In reading, this disorder manifests itself by leading to difficulties with accuracy, comprehension, and fluency, and in writing, it leads to difficulty with spelling. Dyslexia is the most common learning disability in the United States, and approximately 10 to 15% of children are believed to have the disorder. It is also believed that many cases of dyslexia go undiagnosed, so some think that as many as 1 in 5 people actually have dyslexia. Dyslexia specifically affects the part of the brain that is used for reading, called the occipital cortex. In individuals who have dyslexia, this area of the brain is underactivated when reading and writing, which makes it more difficult for these individuals to sound out words and to recognize new words. Scientists have identified several genes that impact the brain's reading skills, and there's a very strong link between the disorder and genetics. In fact, 50% of children with dyslexia have a parent who also has dyslexia. While the disorder impacts the brain imaging studies have also shown that with proper tutoring, the brain's processes and activities can change and get stronger, so early identification and intervention is important. One of the most important things I learned about dyslexia is that it is a spectrum disorder, which means that there is no one experience of having dyslexia. However, there are several common characteristics that teachers and families should be aware of. Students with dyslexia often have difficulty sounding out words, also called decoding, reading comprehension, recognizing sight words, mathematical word problems, spelling, and rhyming. Dyslexia does not impact a student's intellectual abilities, so students are often able to answer questions correctly when information is read to them, even if they cannot read the information themselves. Dyslexia can coexist with ADHD, anxiety, and depression, but studies have also shown that students with dyslexia may use more creative thinking strategies when approaching a problem because they have to process information differently. If a teacher or parent believes that a child has dyslexia, the first step will be to rule out vision and hearing impairments. Once that is done, the evaluation team, led by the school psychologist, will consider observations from the classroom, teacher, the family history, and assessments, and then make a formal diagnosis. Students identified with dyslexia will be set up with an individualized education plan and receive related and appropriate learning disability services as outlined in IDEA. The most popular strategy for teaching students with dyslexia is called the Orton-Gillingham multisensory approach to literacy instruction. This approach focuses on engaging students through sight, hearing, movement, and kinesthetics. One example of this is called sand writing, where students write words in sand or shaving cream. This helps connect movement with touch with each letter, making it easier for students with dyslexia to memorize letters. With that, we'll take a quick break, and I will see you in the next video.